hold on to your dreams. As long as you keep your head in the sky. As long as you keep your head in the sky.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to My Curvy Life. This is with your girl, Miss Fonda, coming at you along with my co-host, Miss Latanya and Lasagna Jones. We welcome you to My Curvy Life, the show on tonight. I just want to say, guys, we have embarked upon a new year. God has been good. My eyes watering. I'm not crying yet. God has been good to us, y'all. Pulling us over into a new year. Letting us just still be here. And he deserves some praise for that. So hopefully you guys are with me on that. I want to say that Curve, y'all, is on the move for 2025. I have so many wonderful things in store for us. And I say us because we are a unit, we are an entity. This is a village, and we all are in this together. So thank you for being a support for the My Curvy Life show, because as I always say, nothing happens without you. So thank you all for your continued support. Now, I was wanting to hit this 1,000 member mark, you guys, and I'm not giving up on that. So I'm going to summons each of you, if you could invite at least 5 people to this platform, to this entity, and let's get that 1,000. I just feel like there's always strength in numbers, y'all. It's strength in numbers. I think we're at about 750, and I know we can make it to that 1,000 mark, but we're not stopping there. I just set goals, and that's what we have to do today, set goals and work toward those goals and keep working toward them until you accomplish them. Don't give up. Just because there was a deadline set don't mean I'm going to say if we don't get there, I'm going to say forget the goal. No, the goal's still there. 1,000 members, y'all. I ain't giving up on that. So thank you all. Thank you for sharing this entity. I appreciate you all. I just have a few announcements before we let our wonderful guests in. I'm always excited about all my guests, but this one has been a task trying to get her here. So she's here. So let me just share with you guys. So the next event that Curve will be having is going to be the homeless feed, which will be in April. And I know it seems like it's so far away, but you don't even know how fast these months go. And before we blink a couple of times, April will be here. Now, I don't have an exact date yet because I'll be celebrating a big event in April, turning 55. To me, that is a milestone. And so I will be celebrating that. And I do plan on being out of the country, y'all. Can you believe it? That's the plan. But all praises and glory to God. But we are going to have that feed. I'm going to tell you what the menu is now, because I'm going to need some people to cook some chili. So we're going to have chili dogs, chips, soda, and dessert. So that'll be pretty easy, pretty simple to accomplish. I might need some chili makers out there, y'all, and some, of course, donations. We all work together to make this all happen. I'm very thankful about the sponsorship for the Adopt a Senior. God is so good. He will allow, even though there was a limited amount of sponsorships, but the people that did sponsored nice. So I was able to accommodate about 53 leg and lotion, foot lotion and leg giveaways with the footies. So, and I delivered those to the senior, I believe it's called Sorensen Heights. And those ladies were a blast, and they appreciated it, and they thanked all of you for your sponsorship and your support in blessing them during that time. So thank you so much. Always know I'm a Mary Kay consultant. I got you on a skincare tip. If you are looking to better your skin, if you're looking to add some color or, lipstick, foundation, whatever you need, it's right here with Mary Kay Cosmetics. So I got you. contact me if you would like to know more. All right, so we're gonna have our lovely Miss Takara Nicole. She is our guest on today. Um, I'm going to tell what I know about her. I believe she is from the area of Illinois. I'm not for sure if it's from straight Chicago or not, but it's the Illinois area. She resides here in Omaha, Nebraska. She came here like a storm, y'all, and I mean a positive, good storm. I know she does a lot with. I believe she's an editor of books. So if you're interested in writing a book, she got you. I'm sure we'll elaborate on that a little bit during the show. Um, Also, I know her to be a public speaker. I had the pleasure of hearing her speak at the Phenomenal Women's Conference that was given by Shaquita Jackson. And she was absolutely awesome, y'all. She brought tears to her sister's eyes. Excuse me, she brought tears to her sister's eyes. And I was very touched by what she had to say. So I asked her, well, I had asked her before that, but I asked her if she could come on the show. And today we're going to do a life's journey show. That's where we talk about things that's happened in our lives. We share. So I'm going to ask everybody to please be sensitive and respectful with your comments. Because we want to make sure, everybody feels comfortable. You guys do such a wonderful job. You're so loving in here. So I'm not expecting anything different, but I do have to make that disclaimer just so that we're aware that this is going to be a life's journey segment on today. And I'm excited to hear what Miss Toccaa has to share with us. So I'm going to go ahead and let her in. Also, I want to mention me and her actually have become very good friends. We've fellowshiped together, and I'm just anticipating knowing more about this young lady. She's the bomb, y'all. So here she comes. I'm going to go ahead and add her in.
Hey,
Hello.
hey, what's
Well,
going on?
hello.
How we doing?
We doing good, girl. It's so good finally to have you on the show. Lord Jesus.
Woo! Yes. Listen, when I was
Y'all,
trying to act crazy just now, I said, Lord, I rebuke thee. Like,
God, come on. Stop. Girl,
that.
these systems, I tell you, and they wait good until you get ready to go and record it and get live, and then all of a
All of
sudden
that.
they. But
Literally.
I'm so happy to have you in the show on the show. I appreciate you for saying yes,
Okay.
and it is my honor because, girl, you are like on fire.
Thank you.
Okay, you're on fire.
It's all him. Listen. Fire all through my bones because of him. And I thank
I,
him all the time. Because listen, I would be nothing without him. When I say nothing, nothing.
did you put the nga on there?
I want y'all to feel it out there. You know I'm silly, Lady Fonda. Don't get
I
me
already know.
wrong.
And I am too. So we're gonna make this gonna be good. So I want you to start with just telling us about Toccaa, okay?
Yes,
Where you were born and raised. We'll
yeah.
start there.
So hello, y'all. Omaha is now my home. I've been here for 2 years now, and that 2 years has flown by. I'm originally from Chi-Town, Shikyangyu, where we are the home of Garrett, where we're the home of the Chicago Dog, we're
Yeah.
the home of Giordano's, some of the best deep dish pizza in the world. We are I can go on and on. Listen, I grew up in a small town called Frankfort, Illinois, and I spent a lot of my time in Chicago. and I lived there towards the before I went off to college. I spent a lot of time in Chicago, and so I tell people I'm from Chicago because it's just easier to pinpoint on the map. My mom
Right.
lives on the south side, Inglewood. If you know, then you know. Right. South side all day. So before people ask, am I a Sox fan? Yes, because you can't be on the the south side and be liking the Cubs. It's a whole right. Whole thing. So, but I grew up in a loving home with my mom and my grandparents and my uncle, and so my dad decided not to be present. And I have an amazing bonus dad who's been in my life since I was 3, and so I'm thankful. And I saw what a healthy home looked like through my neighbors, whether it was my babysitter growing up, my next door neighbors, the neighbors up the block, around the corner. So I always had love around me, which was a very it's helped shape who I am and continues to shape who I am, with love being a firm foundation. So my mother's only child, but I'm the 4th out of 22 kids. I know eyebrows all.
Then my eyes just go.
Listen, Papa was a Rolling Stone. Where he laid his hat was a seed planted and a baby born. All right. Look, when I tell you, when you get healed with your story, you can make jokes all day long and be comfortable. That's my joke. I will be with it until the day I die. Papa was a Rolling Stone. Where he laid his hat was a seed, and then there was a baby. It is what it is.
Girl, I apologize. I did not mean to do that. I said
everyone does. I mean, hey, I get it. That's a whole mouth drop, eyebrows raised. You don't pop your eyes too big. You might lose a lash if it ain't yours. So just say, it is what it is.
So, we all face challenges in life, and I want to ask you, what was one of your challenges that was most memorable in your life?
Yeah. This is good. So I grew up in a predominantly Caucasian neighborhood. And so with a name like Toccaa, it got chopped up, diced up, messed up. You can name it up. Just but one of the most challenging things I would say would be during my childhood, living in a predominantly Caucasian neighborhood, being the only African Americans on the block, we faced racism. And so our next door neighbors were members of the KKK, and we had no clue. And so, yes.
See my eyes again.
Look, we had no clue until we got a clue, right? And it was like 3 years after they moved in and stuff started, really popping off, whether it was swastika signs burned in our yard, the KKK sign burned in our yard, being called porch monkeys, niggas, you name it, being, haunted as a kid. Like I would ride my bike down the street, they would chase me, like little stuff like that. And really, already living in a predominantly Caucasian neighborhood, really was struggling to find my identity as an African American. And then did I like being Black was the other thing that I had to really decide, because you're faced with these people living next door to you that are KKK members, and they're talking to you about how your race is disgusting and nasty, right? So just that challenge. But what I would say is, again, the love of the community, whether it was, I remember my principals, my teachers loving on me. My 4th and 3rd grade teacher followed me on Facebook to this day. So, having those people in my life, my babysitters, stuff like that. So it was just the sense of community that helped me with those challenges. And going off to college really helped me understand that, okay, it doesn't matter so much about race, it's how you treat people. Yeah.
Right. So I was listening to what you were saying, and so it seemed as though you were determined to fulfill your life irregardless of the adversities, because you did have love and those people that were behind you. And so can you tell me a little bit more about your determination? Because I can imagine having, because back then, Roots, remember the movie Roots?
Yes. I still look as a proud African American. I still haven't watched that movie all the way through. I get emotional. I'd be ready to, yeah.
Oh
So
my gosh, girl. Well, I've watched the first one all the way through, but then when they start getting into the next generation and all that, I will admit I didn't watch that all the way through. But it was my mother, excuse me, used to make us sit down and watch that every
mm,
year when it came on because she felt like we needed to know our history.
yeah,
And if we forgot the year before, when it came on next year, we was gonna watch it and learn it again.
woo, woo, yeah,
And it was a tough movie to watch. I will, and I can. That was just a movie, and then here you are, really, actually dealing with that type of behavior.
yeah. It was
Wow.
it was unreal at times, and it was to the point where um, we had to put cameras on our house. I remember that as a little girl, literally having cameras on the front door, garage door,
Uh-huh.
back door, because it was to the point where when we would call the police, they're like, "Well, where's your proof?" kind of thing. And so we can had to continue to advocate and prove like this was really taking place. I mean, it was to the point where we had to put a privacy fence up just so they couldn't see what was taking place in our own backyard, so we can not feel threatened or harassed at that point. And eventually we collected so much evidence over the years that we decided to sue them, and we had to went to court and all that, and either they paid us $375,000 or moved, and they moved, and so we won in that sense, but at that time the mental damage was done, so
And that's what I was gonna wanted you to elaborate on. See, my thing would be if you've been mistreated by a certain race, how are you dealing with that today? Do you think about that at all, or have you gotten past that?
yeah, I've gotten
Where we at with it?
Yeah, I love that. I love that question. I've gotten past it. It's to the point. So I used to work for the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services in various roles. One being in the capacity of training other employees on different mandates that we had coming out from the department standpoint. And one of them was affirmative action that I was responsible for delivering.
Oh,
And
okay.
and I remember talking about that experience. And I remember an African American woman challenging me after delivering that curriculum because I said, I choose not to see color. And I had to make that decision for my own sanity because of the things that I went through. So it's about, how do you treat me? Do you treat me like the citizen that I am, the person that I am, And if you don't like me, that's cool too. But I'm not going to allow for racism to be something that is now a barrier for me everywhere that I go. I decided to turn it into a bridge and walk over it and be healed from that thing. Even though, racism is still very evident in the world that we live in, I just choose not to take it on as one of my own personal battles.
Well, good, good. I mean, I know that had to be tough though,
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah.
because like I said, I used to get upset about the movie. I'll be mad for the whole
Right.
week. Whole week I'm
Right.
going to school like, you know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Side eye. Oh yeah, no. Maybe I'm glad that I didn't watch that, because maybe my, or movies like that. I chose not to. I mean, I'm living next door to it. That was enough, but again,
Girl,
I had the love though, and it's interesting, and when you can really reflect on how God covers and shields you from things, of how it could literally been worse than what it was. And when you
right,
talk about it,
right.
it is horrible, right? But it could have been a whole lot worse. And thank God that it wasn't. Yeah.
So you built quite the entrepreneurship as well within your life's journey.
Yeah.
And I know it's so much to you, girl. You got so much to you, but if you if you could choose maybe one or two of the things that you do uh, within the community or within the globe, can you share some of those things with us? A couple of those things with
Yeah.
us.
So I think it's important to talk about where my love for entrepreneurship even came from. And for one, I didn't know that I was exposed to entrepreneurship even through my great grandma, who was a bootlegger. Uh, I didn't realize that was entrepreneurship until one
Hey,
day.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
get it. I thought it was just kind of weird, some of but it's the South, Birmingham, Alabama, what they do down there is a little bit different than what you do up north. And I
Right.
didn't understand, and I was a young girl, and I just loved being around my great grandma. She was super cool. She always had interesting folks in her house. Now I get it, because what she did, I got it,
Right.
I always had the good snacks, because she sold the good snacks from the Oreo cookies to the, all of that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I started putting the pieces together of life and realizing where did that come from, that was that side of my family where she was that entrepreneur. And then I thought about the people that were around me. I started surrounding myself around entrepreneurs when I was in college. And so really being able to have those good mentors and people pouring into me and realizing that there were some gifts that could be activated that could literally be entrepreneurship. And so
Yes.
a lot of times we don't see what's inside of us until someone says, "Hey, have you ever thought about?" And you're like, "Hold on, what?" And I can do this with that, and then I can do that with that, and I got the gift to do. So literally just putting those puzzle pieces together. And so one of the things that I do is I help people write books. I'm a publisher. And what I love to do is to take someone's concept and bring life to it and then help them to understand how that thing is literally a book. And so then after they have the book, what do they want to do with it? Do they want to, utilize the book as the foundation and then build where they have a podcast, a live stream show, webinars, conferences, entrepreneurship around the concepts and the details that are in this book. And so one of the things that I learned when I used to manage student housing developments was that I was a builder. And
Wow.
when you start realizing who you are through the different elements that God has exposed you to, now
Yes.
how do I fit all that into this thing called life? And so 2017, I started consulting. I've been consulting since 2012, unofficially, just helping people take this concept and bring life to it and help them to birth what it is that they were holding on to, but didn't see how all these intricate pieces can come together and be.
Right.
Sometimes we just need somebody to come aside us and say, "Oh, like I said, do you see that?" So consulting, publishing are my main two babies. I tapped into media accidentally. Shout out to Serenity Barron, who literally was like, "You should have your own radio show." So that's how I tapped into media. And so tapping into yourself allows for you to see what you're really holding on to. And then you kind of figure out, do you want to just use it as a hobby or do you want to turn that into an entrepreneurship stream? So yeah, that's a little bit.
I like that. So would you say that a lot of times, excuse me, before we turn things into an entrepreneurship, it's like a hobby or something that we enjoy, or do you think that's kind of how that goes? It's like already in you, and then all of a sudden somebody just helps you bring it out, or you just let it go?
I truly believe it's something that we already have in us, but it's either we're sitting on it because we don't see how it can result into anything bigger than what it is as an idea. So we kind of like, oh, that's just a really great idea. Oh, I don't see how that is, how that can be ABC 1, 2, 3. A lot of times we already have what's already, we have what's inside of us, right? We don't know how to put those intricate pieces together because we don't see it as something that's bigger than what it already is. Does that make sense? So
It does.
yeah.
It does. I'm gonna say I feel like a lot of times, we go with society.
Oh my God,
So
yeah.
if society is doing this, then we feel like, okay, well, I'm supposed to be doing that too.
Yep.
And really, you may not supposed to be doing that. You're
That part.
supposed to be doing something else.
Yeah.
But but also there's a fear. I think sometimes people have a fear of really, because I will speak for myself. I always wanted to do this. I always wanted to have a talk show, a podcast, whatever you want to call it. But I always wanted to bridge and bring people together.
Yeah.
I had this idea. I was pregnant with it a long time ago.
Yep.
But I didn't have the birth of it until now because I felt like, the Lord was like, okay, now is your time. And
Yes.
it wouldn't let me go. I kept
Yeah,
thinking about it. And one day I just said, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to start my curvy life. You know, I mean, of course, the concept of the show has changed
right.
from when it started.
Yeah.
But, I think a lot of it could be to just a sense of fear of stepping
Oh, for
into it and
sure.
taking a chance, you
Oh,
know.
absolutely, absolutely. And I look back at myself. You know how many times I try to talk myself out of something? Like so many. And I have to be what I'm getting ready to say has nothing to do with Chicago, but I'm about pulling triggers. Like I'm about pulling the trigger. And I say that because I say I'm trigger happy. People be like, hold on, like, no, it ain't pop pop gun trigger happy. You know what I'm saying? It's like no, that's not it. It's more of I know like it's time for me to pull some triggers. And that's when you can really release the fear because a lot of times fear is because you're the first one in your family ever doing it. You don't know how to do it. You don't have the steps. You don't have a mentor. You don't have this. You don't have that. And you keep speaking life to what you don't have and not realizing that you do have what it takes because all you have to do is take one step, right? So there's
Yeah,
that part of breaking that, fear. And I use air quotes. It is a real thing, right? But it's also something that can be broken off if you understand the power that you have to really just take that one step. And once you take that step, you muster up the faith to take the next step, and then next thing you know, you moving, you rolling, you're shaking, you conquer one thing, and you rinse and repeat, and you're able to do something else. So I could talk about this thing all day. So hopefully, I answered that makes
you did.
sense.
You're fine. You're fine. I appreciate your enthusiasm. That's one thing I can say about you. You're very enthused, and you're gonna make us get excited irregardless. It's like she's gonna bring it up, take it up there. You know what I mean?
You know what?
I love that about your personality. Because I love the positive speaking. I had the pleasure of hearing you at the Phenomenal Women's Conference, and again, I told you did an awesome job. You had a sister over here like wiping a tear or two, and that was amazing.
Thank you.
Now, it's amazing how we can, you know, travel through adversities as we're growing and young, and we see a lot of things. But I believe in taking those experiences and applying it to where you want to go, who you want to help. You know what I mean? All that. When I look at what I do as far as the homeless, I was never homeless, but I was poor.
Yeah.
And we had people that helped us and made our Christmases and made our holidays,
Right.
when we didn't have. And so that passion for this comes from that experience.
Yeah.
So life with our experiences takes us to where we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be doing for others. Because, you know, um, God gives us all an assignment. We all
Oh,
have an assignment.
yeah.
Okay. And everybody's assignment is not the same.
Amen.
And the way your assignment is going may not be the way that it's going to go for the other person.
Right.
But I feel like, you know, people like us, we're people persons.
Yeah,
We,
we
we
are.
love people. We love to talk. We love to share and
Yeah.
motivate and encourage. I think you got me beat on a couple of notches though, because you're
You know what? It's funny you say that because uh, my uncle and I are very much alike, where we talk to everybody,
yeah.
and my mom's like, "Oh my God, you're so annoying." Like we go places, like, "Did you know them?" I'm like, "No, I just feel like it's nice to be nice and just talk to other people. That's just who I am." But the other thing, Fonda, I really want to stress this because it's so important. When you do the work to be healed in certain areas, there's
Yeah.
things like joy, like the fruits of the spirit, joy, peace,
Yeah.
all the fruits that really come alive. So the person that people see, like, "Oh my God, Toccaa, you're always this," it's because I'm free from some stuff. I'm no longer bound in areas. So now I have the freedom to embrace joy in the way that God intended it to be embraced. So I show up like this. I wake up like this. Yeah, yeah. I do
Okay.
now. Now I do. That wasn't always my testimony. So
Yes.
yeah.
We got to have some life experiences in order to have a testimony, though. If you don't go through nothing, how can you tell somebody else that you can make it? You know.
All that. And I definitely
So
want to be the servant of the Lord because it's
I,
important.
right.
It's important.
Exactly. And that's one thing that I admire about you as well. You reverence God. You know, a lot of people don't really reverence him. They think they make it seem like they make it happen.
No,
And no, he
no.
makes it happen. God makes it happen.
And I get teary eyed because, and when you just said that, because when I think, we talk about it, the old folks, when you think about the goodness, they put that preach on it. But when you really think about the goodness of God and all that He has
Yeah.
done for you, it's I wouldn't be who I am and continuing to evolve and stepping into purpose and understanding what needed to be thrown away and just from a mindset perspective and what to like I I couldn't imagine where I would be without him. So yeah, I give him all the praise and honor like all the time. And sometimes I have to remember like, oh, Toccaa, everybody, don't drink the same Jesus juice that you drink, Uh, but I
Right.
will always give him the praise because I know that I know that I know that I know. Girl, you got me crying. Where my help comes from. I know I am nothing without him. So, I will always kind of like Charlie Wilson, how he always give God the glory at whatever he performs. I will
Yeah.
always give him that honor.
Well, I certainly didn't mean to make you cry,
Well, don't
but
say much, girl.
when you think of the goodness of the Lord, and I mean, there's been some amazing moves that, I spoke something the other day, and I said, Lord, I want to elevate, in whatever capacity that you want to take me, but I want to step it up a notch. You know
Mm,
what I mean? We
yeah.
all got to start somewhere. We all start somewhere. You know what I mean? But
Amen.
I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm here. Can we go up another notch? And it was like, soon as I spoke that, Takara, something just came out of the blue, out of nowhere, and just was like, here you go.
Yeah.
Here's your next level.
Yeah, and I'm excited for you because as you continue to step, I'm excited to see all that he does for you because of your obedience to the community. And when he says go, you go. You don't hesitate. You take action, and God blesses that. So I'm so excited to see what's in store for you because of your love for the people, your love for God, and the dedication that you have towards this show. And it's not just a show, you're transforming lives by bringing these guests on to share and pack and to empower. And we never know who needs what. That's why I am that girl in Walmart, Target, Goodwill, wherever you, hey, how you doing, girl? Your hair cute
Right.
today? Well, like you never know where people are because this world is so unkind at times. You don't know what people are dealing with. So you can give them that warm hi, hello, a smile, a hug. That's why and I get it because of the things that I've gone through, the things that we continue to go through, and God allows us to triumph over those things where he leaves you with a testimony. He leaves you with joy. He leaves you with peace. So how can I sit on that and not share that with my brother and sister?
That's so true. I want to ask you something though, because behind every goal, behind every step that you take to achieve. Now, I had the other day, I'm just going to be transparent. The other day, I had kind of like, I hadn't cried in a while. I hadn't released things in a while. And I just been going, 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 and moving and grooving. And I had a moment where I just had to shed some tears. I had to cry it out. I had to release.
Yeah.
Now, with you being that exuberant person that you are, do you ever have those moments? I'm sure you do, but I just want to hear you say it.
Oh yeah, a lot. Okay. And I will, I
Because
believe
being an entrepreneur, let me say this real quick. Because being an entrepreneur, a lot of times you're solo.
solo
People don't
dolo.
always you solo.
And on top of that, I was raised as an only child. So there's elements of me that can quickly isolate myself because I'm used to doing that. So yes, I do have my moments, and I'm going to tell you, I'm very good at now releasing how I feel, and I don't let that thing, well, I am this and I need to listen. Titles don't mean ish to me. Do you hear me? If I gotta cry, I'm gonna cry because I know the dark times where I literally was depressed and put on that fake face from 8 to 5 and came home and sat in darkness for years. That's the story people don't know. You know what I'm saying? So now when I cry, I gotta cry. I gotta snot nose cry. We're gonna snot nose cry today. We gonna get ourselves together. We gonna rebound ourselves. But the one of the things that I have found so helpful for me is I have a circle and tribe of people that literally can relate. And you know what? They keep me grounded. They keep me in a place where, look, T, we get it. We got you, you know? And so that's been helpful for me because as growing up as an only, you know, I only relied on self. And then seeing my mom, who was a single parent, doing so much, I thought that the independent way was the only way. And so I had to break myself from those things in a lot of areas, even when it comes to surrendering to God. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time, honey, baby, child. I tell you. So just understanding the power of going into that place, and if I have to cry, I cry. There's times where I will be literally driving, and if I have to get a good scream out, I will get a good scream out. I sure will, because I need to release to be refilled. There's an exchange that has to happen, and I can't go to the next places and spaces carrying things that need to be released.
I agree with that 100%. I do agree with that. Uh, I just feel like, when it comes to the surface, go ahead on and let it out.
For sure.
Because we'll keep pushing it back down and pushing it back down, and then that's when you start building up, to me, depression,
Yeah.
anger,
Yeah.
and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead on and release and let it out. And when I was having my moment, I had a few people that were calling and wanting to talk, and no, don't feel like that. No, let me feel like that for just that. This too shall pass, but I
Right.
gotta let it out.
Right. And I love that because it's also a part of the testimony, because now you can literally testify to somebody else. Oh yeah, I know exactly what that feels like, and here's what I did. Now this exact way might not work for you, but I'm literally sharing with you that you can put down the mask, and I can invite you into my world and say yes, me too. Because that's a lot of times, we have these titles, we have these accolades, we have these professional responsibilities, and when I shared at the Phenomenal Women Conference, I was that girl, everything was, my professionalism and and I literally surrounded and built a foundation off of that. And when it was ripped underneath me, I didn't know who I was to my core. And so we have to be real. It's important to be authentic, not only for ourselves, but as kingdom citizens. Someone is watching you, and that you give them the responsibility. There's a responsibility that we have to own. But be real with yourself. If you gotta cry, go cry. Like, give yourself
exactly.
And I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people don't. I do. I listen. I'm on your show giving God the goodness and the glory and crying. I don't hold back anything anymore. I'm no longer ashamed of that. I'm no longer prideful in some areas. I've learned how to humble myself. And that's a whole teaching right there.
Girl, that's for another show, okay?
I'll put that in a book. Listen.
Right. So, so Toccaa, I would like for you just to share with people, if they were looking for you to help in any of these areas, how would they find you?
Yeah. So I'll give you guys, I have a number where you can text and call. It's 877-904-0787. I'll give it again. It's 877-904-0787. That's my business line. And you can find me on Facebook, Toccaa Nicole. Your Author's Authority. That's all one word.com. That's all things publishing. But yeah, you can text me. You can call the 877-904-0787 number. And we can set up what I call aha sessions. I love that, right? When I tell you God is clever. He gave me that.
I love it.
And they're
I
30
love
minute
it.
calls. Yeah, they're 30 minutes of me free. And I'm a talker, so sometimes you get an hour, So if there's somebody blocked behind you, you get me. And so I've learned how to show up in spaces for people like that, who just want to learn more about publishing or whatever, or speaking, whatever that looks like. You got a concept and you're stuck, you don't know how to build it, holla at your girl. Yeah, but I'm thankful for what you do, Fonda. I'm sure people give you your flowers all the time, but I know what it's like to have a platform, finding guests, all that fun stuff, interviewing them, and it's fun. Um, but you want to have the right people to your audience, and you've done an amazing job with finding people that speak to your audience and also speak to you, because when as a host, we catch those good gems too. So
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate your encouragement. It's not easy. I will say that. It is not easy, but I enjoy what I do and I
yeah,
have a passion for it. And that is what makes the difference. When you
amen.
have a passion for what you do,
That's right.
and when the Lord has assigned you to
Come
do
on.
this. So he's making he's opening the doors going like this, and I'm just
Woo-wee.
walking through it.
He's making a way. Come on
He,
here.
He is, girl. He's opening up the doors, and all I'm doing is opening them up, and the little fingers from the telephone book when they do this. That's me.
I understand. Keep it going, girl. Keep it going. Keep walking.
and, and you keep doing what you're doing. Keep being an inspiration to Cara, because that is exactly what you are. You are totally an inspiration. I thought I knew you from the book writing arena, but when you spoke at that conference, I'm like, she's a leader. She's a
Mm,
leader,
thank
and you made an impact.
you. Hallelujah.
And so that's what the world needs today. We need people that make impact.
Oof, thank you. I appreciate that.
So you keep doing exactly what you're doing. I love it. I thank you so much for being on the show. I thank you for just coming and sharing with us. And
Absolutely.
um I I'm thinking I want to do me a book too, girl, but I want to do an audible, is that what they call book?
You want to do one of the
Where
audio books? Listen,
where I want to be in first person. I'm reading the story in first person.
I love it. Yes.
I'm telling my story in first person. I walked into the door and I felt such and such, you know what I mean?
I love it. Your voice. Come on.
Come
Tap
on
into,
now.
tap into the voiceover world, too, girl. While you at it, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead now.
But I but I wanted to have you leave us, and I always ask my guests to leave us with some golden nuggets, something positive, motivating, inspiring that you would like to share with us, that you would like to leave us with on today.
Yeah. Um, in my sixth baby, that's my book. God gave me this quote, and I stand on it. And knowing who you are is a game changer. And so when we do the work to know who we are, it allows for us to embrace our assignment even the more. It allows for us to walk into those doors that we might be a little scared to walk in. It allows for us to embrace purpose. It allows for us to embrace others. It allows for us to say no and know that protecting your boundaries is a beautiful thing. And so when you start to embrace who you are, your game starts to change. And when I talk about the game, I'm talking about the game of life. So be the game changer. Show up so people can literally get the breakthrough that they need, so they can understand who they are too. Because I really believe that everybody has something to say. It's, are you saying it, and do you believe in yourself that much to where you too know that you're a game changer? Those
I
are my
know that's right. I know. I say everybody has a story. That's how I put it.
Oh, yes, we
Everybody
do.
has a story.
Got
Everybody.
something. You got something to bring to the table. Don't come to
Yes.
the table empty, because you got something.
Come on now. Even though I'm going to say this, and yes, game changer, be that person. Step out. I agree with you 100%. And I say this, If you've been carrying something from a child that you've been holding in because you were threatened back then that,
Ooh-wee,
you better not tell nobody what's going on in this
ooh-wee.
home. Hey, we're in a new day, a new time. Counseling is okay. Counseling is okay. If you need to seek counseling, go seek counseling.
Come
You
on.
know, let it out.
Yeah.
Don't hold it in anymore. Get free of it. A lot
That's
of
it.
us are just not free
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
because we're afraid
It's
to
her.
open up and let it out.
Yeah.
So take the mask off, y'all.
Throw it
Let us
away.
see the real authentic you, as Miss Toccaa has said. Let your authentic self be seen.
Amen.
Okay? Thank you,
Fact.
Mr. Cara. Thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome, y'all.
appreciate you for being on the show, and everything that you've said today has been so inspirational. And that's what this show is about, is spreading inspiration, information, you know what I mean, so that we can be better. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So, Takara, my curvy life thanks you. I thank you for
You're
being a
welcome.
part of the show. Um, the best of blessings on all of your endeavors. And, I'm looking for lunch soon, the
Yes.
fellowship. I told
Yes.
you my days that I got off. So
I got
let's
you.
connect.
Yes, my
Let's
love.
connect. She is an awesome person, guys. So thank you,
Oh,
Mr. Carrot. We appreciate you and we love you. And so this is going to wrap up the show for tonight, everybody. Thank you for joining in. And she told you where she could be found. So find her, y'all. Find her, okay?
Loving you this could never